Hello, welcome to Art for Mental Wellbeing. Today I'm going to show you how to make some shadow boxes, and I'm going to show you how to make a seaside one like this, a holiday one like this, and a garden one like this with little 3D butterflies. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of shadow boxes around the world. I'm going to tell you the equipment that you'll need to make a shadow box, and then I'll give you the instructions on how to make the individual 3 different sorts of shadow box. The aim of this art project is to absorb you in a pleasurable task, to give yourself something positive to focus on, and create something beautiful and hopefully something that will make you smile and tells a little bit of a story about you. So I'll tell you first about shadow boxes. I did a bit of investigating. In Germany they are called Wunderkammers, which translates into cabinet of curiosity, and they started off being rooms full of items collected probably by rich people in the 16th century, and they would have been items from the natural world, historical items, antiques, and curiosities. So some of the things would be fantastical, so they would put unicorn horns in there, which were actually the horns off a certain type of whale. In Mexico, shadow boxes are called nicho boxes, and they're used to celebrate the Day of the Dead, and to celebrate the life of a loved one. So they may have photographs and mementos from this special person. And in the Navy, shadow boxes have been used to collate souvenirs of a sailor's travels around the world. There was a superstition that if the sailor, his shadow, left the boat before him, he would have bad luck. So they would create his shadow in this cabinet or box and present it to him after he'd left the ship, so he would have good luck for the rest of his life, which is quite nice. So the equipment that you will need to make one of these shadow boxes are various boxes of different sizes. So boxes of this sort of size, these are actually lids of boxes, which are quite useful because they're already they already have a nice pattern on them, so you don't have to hide all the writing and the type on the box. So cardboard boxes of all different shapes and sizes, tissue paper, newspaper, maps, old maps, leaflets, PVA glue, scissors, a scalpel or a Stanley knife or craft knife, a pile of old magazines, maybe some old birthday cards, shells, coins, stamps, tickets from holidays, maybe objects from nature, stones, snail shells. You'll also need some thin wire and a Pritt stick, maybe some sand or gravel if you're doing the seaside version. So as I've said, the aim is that this will perhaps take your mind off any worries that you have. So decide on your theme. So are you going to do a seaside one, a holiday one, or a garden one? I'm going to tell you how to do the beach one first. So decide on the objects that you're going to put in your shadow box. So I have some shells here, and I've got some more shells here, and I've collected these from visits to the seaside, and then I've made some objects like a kite and some bunting and some flags, and I've made the sandcastles as well. So as you can see, I have used 4 boxes here, and I've taped them together and put some papier-mâché over them like that. So some of your boxes will have a front on them. So I've cut the box out, the front of the box is what I mean. I've cut the front of the box out, and then I have cut some magazine bits of sky out and bits of sea out, and I've sort of used a collage style, so there are lots of different pieces, and stuck them actually to what was the front of the box like that. So you can see that was the front of the box, and all you need to do then is use your Pritt stick and stick that onto the inside of your box. That will make your box a bit stronger. So now you've got the sea and you've got the sky. So the next thing you would need to do is add some sand. So I've got some sand on a little tray here, and I've dried the sand out. I would suggest that you use some PVA glue to put the sand in, just because it's a bit stronger. So I'm going to have my sea at the bottom, and I'm just going to put some glue, quite a lot of glue, on the bottom of my box like that, and then I'm going to add, I've got my sand here, yeah, you can see that. So I'm then just going to put a little bit of sand in the bottom of that box, press it all down, and then give it a little shake, and there we go. You can see that's a nice little sandy beach now with the sky and the sea. So then you need to choose some shells and maybe some stones. So I got a few bits of gravel just from my garden. I gave them a bit of a wash so they're not dusty, and the glue will stick to them better. So you can then do exactly what I did here with the sand, add a bit more glue and put your little bits of gravel, if you want to, on the bottom of your box, and then choose which shell or shells you would like to put in there. So I could put that one in there, so like that. You would obviously need to use the PVA glue. So then if you would like to make some flags and maybe a sandcastle, instead of putting a shell in there, I've drawn some little sandcastles there, and I put some shells on the top. I've added some tabs which I will fold back, and then I'm going to stick those onto the bottom of the box. So I'm going to use a little bit of masking tape to do that, and that will attach them to your box, make them secure. There we go, you can see now. So there we go, I've added my little, let's get rid of some of that sand, my little sandcastle. So now I'm going to show you how to make the flags to go on top of the sandcastles. So I've just got a long strip of paper, and I'm going to glue that on one side like that, and then I'm going to get half a cocktail stick and stick that in the middle like that of the, there we go, of the bit of paper, and then I'm going to fold it so it looks like a little bit of a flag, and then pinch it up near the cocktail stick so it sticks to it. So there you've got your little flag, and then I'm going to get another bit of tape and tape that to the sandcastle. Just make sure your tape isn't too wide, otherwise it will stick out of the side of the sandcastle. So there we go, you can see that. I'm just going to attach that to the back of one of my sandcastles. So there you go, you have a sandcastle with a little flag on it. I'm going to pull that up a bit so you can see the stick actually. There we go. There we go. So now you have a sandcastle with a little flag in it. So that's one of my boxes. I think it looks like it needs a little sun in it. So I will show you on my other one here. I thought that one needed a sun, and as the picture didn't have a sun on it, I just drew one on a bit of card and stuck it onto the sky, so you could do that. So if you want to make a kite and the bunting, you do exactly the same thing as you've done with the flags, but instead of attaching the bits of paper to the cocktail stick, you attach it to a bit of wire. So I've got some wire that comes on this reel, very fine, and then you basically add your bits of paper as you did with the flag, but you add them to the thin wire, and then you attach the wire to the box, either on the outside or the inside, with a bit of sellotape, or actually on one of the cases I managed to poke it into the cardboard. So then you have your shadow boxes, your Seaside shadow boxes. If you want, you can varnish the shells, which is what I've done here and up here, and it just makes them look like they've got a bit of sea on them, and also it will keep them in place. So that's your Seaside one, or your beach one. If you'd like to make a garden one, like this, then get your pile of magazines and cut out bits of grass, plants and sky from the magazines. I found some daisies as well. So first of all, you put the grass pieces, like a collage. It doesn't have to be one piece of grass, it can be lots of different pieces of grass. I don't know if you can see, some of the grasses don't, the piece of grass don't actually match, but it doesn't matter because it all makes it look more interesting. So basically put your grass bits on the bottom, your plants and flowers along the side and around the back. You can add a bit of grass at the back as well, and then just add your flowers over the top like that, so you get a sort of layered effect. And I've actually found a little chair there that looks like the one I've got in my garden. And I've added a bird flying in the sky at the back. So then, if you would like to add some birds or bees or butterflies, find a picture of any of these and cut them out, and then attach them to your thin bit of wire, and then tape them to the top of your box, and then bend the wire down. And as you can see, you then have little butterflies. There's a bee in there somewhere. There it is. That look like they're flying. So it gives a nice 3D effect. I also had, this is a little cup and a saucer that belonged to my granny, and they were for her doll's house, so they're quite precious. So I've made a little, cut out a bit of gingham from a magazine and made a little picnic blanket, so I put those on there. And then I cut out these bits of apple blossom and just stuck those on the front. So it gives it a really good 3D effect. And then if you want to hang it on the wall, you can add a bit of ribbon and tape it to the back of the box. So there's your garden one. And then finally, your holiday one, or Happy Memories shadow box. Try and find, if you have any mementos from your holiday, cut out an image that reminds you of your holiday. So this is, if you can see that, that's an image of Table Mountain in South Africa, and that was actually a brochure that I got when I was there. And then I added a stamp and some coins, And then these little birds here, I think that's a guinea fowl, I don't know what that is, or that one, but I stuck those on the base of the frame, so that reminds me of my lovely holiday. Okay, so that is how you make shadow boxes, or 3 different versions of shadow box. Yours will look different because there'll be your different memories and different things that make you smile. They work best if you hang them above a lamp, because you then get the shadow effect. So I hope that you enjoy making these shadow boxes, and that remembering your happy holidays and the things that you enjoy make you smile. I would also like to say keep making art, and keep well and stay happy. If you would like to show me a photo of your version of a shadow box, I would really love to see them. And you can send them a photo to info@mindspace.stamford.com, and that's all in lowercase. So take care and enjoy making your shadow boxes. Bye!